So we were talking about for you that this is about your business. At first we said that you wanted to have more consistent client results and feedback. In the conversation, we became a little bit more clear that maybe you already are getting great feedback. Actually, you just want more great feedback from a bigger group. And then as we continued the conversation, you even realized that if you had something for yourself, that even you wouldn't need such a big group because that would be meaningful for you, to have something independent for you. Am I understanding so far correctly and remembering well?
Sí, eso fue lo que platicamos.
Yeah, okay. We also said, when we were talking about the goal of getting more people in what you're already doing, some of the things we could do was for you to take a more active role in the public relations, the publicity. And so maybe that could be something we could, if we had more time, we could explore a little bit more deeply about what are your blocks, but in general, that area might be something we could explore. Would that fit for you if we were to maybe talk about that, if we were to work together?
Sí, eso me permitiría tener mayores herramientas para publicitarme en redes sociales.
Okay, good. And also we talked about you having more belief in your tools.
Sí, yo creo que tengo que reafirmar el conocimiento.
Yeah.
Que si ya soy maestra es por algo.
Yeah, and so if we were to work on some sort of process for you to reinforce your knowledge, would that help you to move towards your goal of either having more publicity for what you're already doing, and also working on your own in smaller groups maybe, but independent?
Alcanzaría una de las metas que tengo a largo plazo.
Beautiful, that's great to hear. Is there anything that I'm missing that is interfering with you from moving forward towards these goals of having larger groups through the publicity and your more active role in the publicity, and also having groups on yourself? Is there anything else that I didn't mention that would interfere with you moving forward that you are aware of?
Yo creo que hacer un buen diseño de un plan con metas a corto, largo, mediano y largo plazo.
Yeah, I think I remember one of the things we talked about was more clarity about how. And so having a short-term, a medium, and a long-term plan would also serve you. Wonderful. And is there anything else that's interfering with you that you're aware of?
Pues primero reconocer que en este momento tal vez no cuento con el capital suficiente para poder tener un lugar propio.
Okay, good. And so I guess what I'm hearing there is maybe that's part of the medium-term plan or the long-term plan. Maybe there can be other solutions, but maybe we can find other solutions to make that short-term, or maybe it's part of just the medium plan and that's a good realization for you in your planning process. Does that fit for your experience? That realization that maybe I don't have the capital to do that right now.
Sí, y reconocer tal vez que en donde estoy parada ahorita, de la forma independiente que me estoy moviendo, podría ayudarme a generar mayor reconocimiento con la gente y tal vez no es necesario ese centro porque me pueda convertir en una maestra de diferentes técnicas holísticas que quieran llamar en diferentes escuelas porque la calidad de mis clases son excelentes.
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing here is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but even just you taking the time here to think is giving you a space to get more clarity, to think about a plan by yourself. Does that fit with your experience?
Sí, porque esa cuestión del centro, tal vez por el ritmo de vida que yo tengo, no sería algo que me beneficiara, ya que actualmente yo trabajo para el gobierno, la mitad de mi día.
Okay, so we need to shift gears now in the conversation because we're on the time and I want to make sure that I am respectful of your time and my time and our agreement here. But what I'm hearing from you is if we were to work together towards your plan of, first of all, we would need to make a plan for you, short-term, medium, and long-term, and start to clarify that out in service of you possibly being more active with the publicity, possibly making a plan to either generate resources to have your own space, or finding other solutions to use other spaces. With the time that you have now free, when you're not working already, it sounds to me like that would be the general subject of what we would be working on together. Does that fit for you?
Sí, totalmente.
Okay, just checking here. And so, let me go back here in the papers. And so, good. I'm wondering, do you have any questions for me if we're going to change? Remember in the beginning, I told you we would work for 90% of the time I would ask you questions, and then you would ask me questions. I'm wondering, do you have any questions for me about how I work with people?
¿Cuál es la frecuencia en la que tú me recomiendas tomar estas sesiones?
Yeah, what I would recommend, I think, in general, first of all, I work with people in a 3-month program usually. Based on this conversation, it doesn't sound to me like there is something so urgent that it couldn't prevent us from meeting every other week. Also, I think if we met every week for the first month, we would have a better sense of if we want to keep meeting every week or if every other week would be sufficient. So I don't think it's necessary that we must meet every week, but I think if we chose to do that, it would accelerate the progress together, especially with making that plan and getting that clear so we can start to take action and receive feedback on how to optimize that. Does that make sense for you?
Sí, creo que es sería bastante útil para ir teniendo más claridad en el camino.
That's my sense in the front. And then we can feel how much or how frequent, or maybe even just take longer. Instead of 3 months, just stretch it in 6 months to have that support. But really that would be something we could explore if we work together, we could explore that in the first month or so. Any other questions for me about how I work with people?
Generalmente yo no le llamo gasto algo que me va a beneficiar en mi vida. ¿Cuál es la inversión que yo tendría que hacer durante esos 3 meses?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I also, I think of it as an investment as well. Of course, if you're gonna get a return. We don't wanna just invest and not get something in return. So in terms of the investment, I just wanna be clear, I don't like to take the payment in the front. The payment is month by month. So if at any point in time you feel like it's not good for you, or you're not getting results, or the other way around, we can have that conversation and there's no pressure to continue. So the payments are month to month, and if we meet every week, the payments are, I'm gonna make up a number here, let's say it's 200 per month. This is not my real raise. And if we meet every other week, it would be 100 per month. So there's no increase or decrease of the price if you want to meet more frequently or less frequently. It's just about what you want, what you need, and what is best for you based on the decision that you make.
Ok, me queda claro. Entonces, igual, si en algún momento considero que no es como el camino, sin ningún problema podríamos o cambiar o recomendar alguna otra cosa.
Exactly. I don't want anybody who's not getting results. I value you getting the results is what makes me happy, and it's what helps me to grow. Most of my people who work with me end up referring their friends, their family, their colleagues. And so my reputation is what's important, and I want to make sure that you are more than happy with the investment that you're making. So if at any point in time you're not happy, then I'm more than happy to send you on your way, and even refund you for any sessions that you have not yet used. So that's the... Any other questions?
Este es un comentario que quiero hacerte desde mi corazón.
Please.
Yo no quiero ser una persona famosa ni conocida tanto como en redes sociales. Te pediría que durante estos 3 meses me apoyaras para yo poder alcanzar poder acercarme a más gente para seguir aportando lo que yo tengo para ellos.
So,
y eso es algo.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up now, because I think a couple of things I would say. The first thing I would say is I am not going to be, my expertise is not the social media marketing strategy. So if that's something you're looking for, either I can refer you to somebody that I know, or you can find somebody to work with you, with me, to do that part of the project, if that's something that's important for you. But if you already know how to do it, but you just have that identity that you just told me, I'm not the type of person to do that, I can support you with that part of it. So maybe if the end of we work together and you could have an identity, I am the type of person who goes on social media and speaks to the people, that would be the part of it that I could work with you on from my skill set. Maybe somebody else, if you need to learn a strategy, that's not my specialty. Any thoughts on that?
Muy bien, muchas gracias.
Yeah, okay, good.
Y
So,
te prometo que el día que sea famosa te regalo un autógrafo.
por favor. And it will be worth more than the investment in this one. That's my investment to you, from me, you know. Yeah. So, well, I also personally, I don't want to pressure anyone to make a decision today, because I want you to check with anybody who's important to you, your, I don't know, family, friends. I want you to make a good decision for yourself. But what I would like to do is, if you are interested in starting, we can put it in the calendar and schedule it. And then tomorrow, I can send you an email with all the information that we talked about today, and the link to make the payments. If you want to do every week or every other week, you can make that decision. Either you can make that decision before we meet in the in the meeting, or after our first meeting. But does that make sense for you?
Sí, de hecho, se me olvidó comentarte que una de mis herramientas es un poco la intuición, y por supuesto que considero que tu acompañamiento me va a ayudar a llegar a mi objetivo.
Beautiful. Yeah. So how about we just schedule something in the calendar? We meet for that first hour, and then tomorrow I can send you the information that we talked about today, the tentative plan that we discussed. Maybe that will change if we work together, and also the link to make the payment before we meet, and we can get started. How does that sound for you?
Sí, me parece bien.
Thank you for the demonstration. Everybody, give her a round of applause.